Alright guys, welcome back to the another video. In this video, I'm going to talk about GeoParquet file format. It's the cloud native file format for vector dataset. So in this video, I'm going to talk about its advantage, limitation, and I'll also show you how to read, write, and do analysis using GeoParquet file format. Since it's very new to the geospatial community, that's why it has very limited resources. So I try to cover the basic overview of the GeoParquet file format and how to work with this file format. So let's get started. Alright, so before starting the actual reading, writing, and data analysis part using GeoParquet file format, I want to do the brief introduction of this file format. I have only 4 slides, so after that only I'll go to the actual geospatial data analysis part. So first of all, it's a cloud native file format for vector dataset that extend the Parquet columnar storage file format to support the geospatial data. Actually, the Parquet is an efficient columnar data format commonly used in big data. So it's very useful for the large dataset since it has the data compression technique and encoding schema which help us to significantly reduce the size of the actual dataset. Why GeoParquet? Actually, it's used and supported by the large companies such as Microsoft, Planet, and Kato. And also this file format is already implemented or included in the widely used geospatial packages such as GDAL and Geopandas. So it will be like very useful for the large data analysis. And other than that, of course, it has the really nice storage capacity. That means it helps to reduce the file size. I'll show you in my demonstration how much we can compress the file, and also it will help to do the fast analysis integrating with the other cloud native tools such as DocDB to do the faster analysis. And the thing is, it can handle the large scale geospatial data, making it suitable for the use in big data environment where scalability is a concern. And the thing is, it support the standardization. For example, there are so many file formats, but GeoParquet is mostly based on WKB, which can be easily shared between organization or shared between file formats. Talking about its feature, so it supports the multiple spatial reference system, and also it supports the multiple geometry columns, and it's very great for the compression or small file size. You can see it in the right side figure. So there it can like easily visualize the handle the millions of points or the polygon dataset, and it's great at read heavy analytic workflow, and its support for the data partitioning so that we can use this file format to do the spatial analysis on based on chunks. Although it has really great features, there are few limitations as well. For example, the first one is it's still in developing phase and might be really hard to find the required resources. For example, there are very limited blog post or limited videos tutorial talking about GeoParquet file format. And another thing is integration with other tools and ecosystem might be challenging since it's new file format. Of course, there are so many file formats out there for years. For example, GeoJSON, Shapefile, those integrating with those file format might be a little bit easier than with the GeoParquet. And the thing is, it might not be a better idea to choose this file format for the small data set. So yeah, so those are the few limitations. All right, so before moving into the actual coding section, I want to show its official website. So in the official website, there is few information about this file format. So they also highlight some of the important topics such as standard geospatial data in Parquet, columnar data for geo, and cloud data warehouse interpretability. And also they simply write the who is involved with this file format, and there are few tools. I'm not going to go into detail about these tools, so you can feel free to explore by yourself. And also they have sample data set as well. For this demonstration, I'm going to use this NZ building outline Parquet dataset. So it's 440 MB, I think. So I'm going to use this dataset and do the analysis. And of course, talking about its GitHub repos, since it's quite new, so it has only 760 stars by the time I record this video. And then it has also like goals and then features. So I simply copy this feature to my presentation as well. And the current version is 1.1.0 plus p1. So the stable release right now is 1.0.0, 1.1.1, sorry. Okay, so let's move to the actual code section. So of course, for the GeoParquet basic, I'm using this NZ building outlines Parquet dataset. And don't worry about this code, so I'll share it in the video description. And I already like downloaded this dataset. So if you haven't, simply click on the link and then it will automatically start downloading. It's 410 MB. All right, so my dataset is already downloaded over here, and now I'm going to write the query to read this dataset. All right, so I already activated my virtual environment GDAL, and now to work with this file format, you need to install these two libraries: pip install pyarrow and then pip install geopandas version 1.1.0 or the Gator version. So since I already installed this version, so I might not need to like install it again. So in your case, you might need to run this cell. And then another thing is I'm going to import a Geopandas a GPD, and then if I say gpt dot version, then I'll get the version 1.0.0. Okay, this is my current version. Now in order to load the GeoParquet file, so you need to do the GDF equal to gpd dot read Parquet, and then of course the Parquet file is one folder up, data Parquet, and then NZ building outlines. And since it's quite heavy, it might take time to load the file, and after it loads, I'm going to print out head. Okay, it took around 8 seconds to read my file. And then if I say GDF head, then I'm seeing the building ID, name of the building, town, city, and then so on and so on. And lastly, I have the geometry column, which is multi-polygon. And to see the size of this GDF, so I can say GDF len. Then it says that it has 3.3 million polygons. So that's a lot number of polygons. All right, so in order to print out the CRS, so I can simply type gdf.crs, and looks like it's the New Zealand Transverse Mercator 2000 CRS, and it has EPSG of 2193. And yeah, so that's how we read the dataset. And in order to like convert the file format, so simply you can write gdf.to file, and then you can provide where you want to save. For example, if you want to convert it to the shapefile, then simply write path to the shapefile and then driver name esri shapefile. And if you want to write it as like GeoJSON, then you can simply do the provide the path to the GeoJSON and then write the driver name as GeoJSON. That's how it works. But since I already run this script, I'm not going to run this script again. So it will take for the shapefile, it will take 1 minute 30 seconds, and to convert to the GeoJSON file it take around more than 4 minutes, as I remember correctly. So that's why I'm not going to run it again. So I already have that output file over here. So the if I convert this 420 MB GeoJSON file, I mean Parquet file, to GeoJSON file, then it became 3.25 GB. And if I convert this to the shape file, then the size is around 2.74 GB. Of course, from here you can see that how much it can like compress our file. So yeah, basically if the same file can be a 3.25 GB GeoJSON file and 2.75 GB shape file. All right, so in order to save our data frame to the Parquet file format, so you can simply do to Parquet, and then you need to provide URL where you want to save your data set. Of course, it might be inside output, and then provide the name of your file, right? So if you run this cell, then it will simply save your data frame into the Parquet file format. So right here in the output directory, right? So yeah, it took around 14 seconds to write the file, which is not that bad. So we can easily like read and write the Parquet file format using Geopandas like this way. And the thing I have tried is I try to see the reading time of each of the file format. For example, in the first case, I try to load the Parquet using Geopandas, and in the second run, I try to load the shape file and the GeoJSON file. And what I got is for the Parquet, it took around 7 seconds to read the file. For the shape file, it took around 53 seconds. But for the GeoJSON, unfortunately, it took more than 4 minutes to read the data from this file. So from this result, you can clearly see that which file might be the good option for you, right? Okay, so the another thing I would like to do is I want to do some analysis using Parquet, I mean data frame. Of course, if your data is already in the data frame, then you can apply all the like Geopandas functionality to do the analysis thing. For here, I'm going to filter the data based on attribute and then do the buffering. Just for example, here I wrote GDF filtered and then GDF filter, then maybe based on town city, which is over here. So based on town city, I'm going to filter out Marton city only. So if you want Marton, then simply do the equal to Marton. Then if you say GDF filter dot head, then you will only see the values which having town city equal to Marton. And then if you say length GDF filtered, then you will only get 7,910 result, right? And now, and the thing is, you might need to do the buffer as well, right? So to do the buffer, actually you can write geometry equal to GDF filtered geometry dot buffer. Maybe buffer each building by 10 meter, and if you hit run, then your geometry will be buffered by 10 meter. This is just the warning, don't worry about it. And the other thing is also you can filter the GDF based on first few rows. For example, save first 5000 rows, and then GDF filtered equal to GDF filtered dot head 5000, right? So if I say GDF filtered, then I'll get only the first 5000 result, right? Now you can like save this result as whatever file format you want, but before saving this data set, I want to like visualize it as well. So to visualize it, you can simply do the filter.plot, and then it will basically plot your data set based on latitude and longitude. Of course, longitude in x-axis and latitude in y-axis, and these are the like points so far based on our filter and then buffer operation. Okay, so in order to save this to the file, so you can write to file and then provide where you want to save it, and then data, and maybe I'll save it inside Parquet, and then maybe inside SHP, and then yeah, the filtered, right now I have this outline full data set in Shapefile format. Now I can save it as a filtered Shapefile. Okay, so these are just the warning, I think, based on the column name. For example, Shapefile cannot read the column length having more than 10 string, 10 letter, right? That's why it's truncated. So now you can get the like filter result in Shapefile format. Similarly, if you want in Parquet format, then you can write to Parquet and then provide the file format with extension .parquet, and then don't provide the driver or the GeoJSON file. Also you need to like provide the extension and the corresponding driver. So yeah, that's all about like GeoParquet file format, and it's quite easy to deal with Geopandas. So I hope you really enjoyed this session. If you enjoyed this session, hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching.